And welcome to another edition of the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone at xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV. For the channels and programming available on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit xzbn.net. And if you're watching us around the world tonight, you're watching us on Simul TV, Channel 21. Exonation, my guest this hour is award-winning author Stephanie Rose Bird. She's the author of 365 Days of Hoodoo. Now, Hoodoo is a bold spiritual tradition that helps enhance your well-being and solve everyday problems. This practical do-it-yourself guide shows how to use spells, rites, recipes, mojos, and curios to enrich your life and be ready for whatever comes your way. 365 Days of Hoodoo starts by providing the basics of Hoodoo and then gradually building your knowledge day after day. You'll discover the essential components for your practice, how to master the parts of your life that seem out of control, and the way Hoodoo can improve love, prosperity, protection, and much more. This impressive book also features lore, prayers, potions, altars, baths, and meditations. As I was saying, our guest is Stephanie Rose Bird, and she is a hereditary intuitive, contemporary root worker, solitary green witch, and visionary. She has been involved with paganism, mysticism, and the occult for over 30 years. She is a practicing visionary and spiritual artist specializing in painting. Stephanie offers healing workshops, rituals, retreats, and classes across the country. Her website, www.stephanierosebird.com. And Stephanie, welcome to the X Zone.
Hello, thank you.
First of all, Stephanie, how would you best describe Hoodoo to someone who has never heard of it before?
Hoodoo is a practice of folkloric beliefs and various practices that are distinctly American, had sort of a strong root base in the South, but
right.
Also various states in the country.
Now, how did you get involved are you what we would call a Hoodoo practitioner?
Yes.
Okay, how did you get started in this, dear?
Well, before I got involved in Hoodoo, I was a green witch and practicing shamanism, and I really am very sort of keen on my African American ancestry and
right.
Culture and what's going on in Africa spiritually and so forth. And Hoodoo attracted me because there have been traditionally many African American practitioners, and a lot of the original root work is from African American informants.
Now, what is a green witch? I've heard of a white witch, I've heard of a dark witch, but I've never heard of a green witch. What is that?
A green witch is like a hedge witch. So we practice healing kind of brews and stews and things from the garden, herbs. We're master herbalist, and into aromatherapy and things like that.
What is the difference between a green witch and the traditional witch that people most associate the word witch with? You know, the coven, the cauldron, the black cape, the pointed hat.
Yeah, I think all of us. I can't really speak for the other practices because they are not my own.
Sure,
but I can say that in green witchcraft, there is a preponderance of interest in Mother Nature, in the earth goddesses, in plants and plant wisdom, and using them to help. Some people do it to harm as well, but using the energy of green plants and the earth for magical purposes.
Would it be fair to say that a green witch is an eco-friendly witch?
You could say that, yes.
And I would imagine,
I
as a green witch, with everything that is going wrong with the ecology of our planet thanks to the industrial nations, this must be of a great concern to you.
Yeah, it's a pretty sad and worrisome time.
Hmm. Do you think that it's too late to reverse the process, that we can actually save Mother Earth or help her to heal herself?
I Gosh, that's such a huge question.
Hmm.
I would hope that we can, and I hope that there are enough wise people on this earth that can see the perilous path that we're on and want to change the course.
Well, that makes two of us, and I
Yeah.
commend you and everyone else who does their part, whether it is big or small, to turn the horrific damage that we are causing to Mother Earth and our ecology, and thereby endangering each and every one of us. So my hat is off to you, young lady.
Oh, thank you.
Now, 365 days of hoodoo. Daily root work, mojo, and conjuration. Well, first of all, what is root work?
Root work is pretty much what I've been speaking of.
Okay.
We work with particular roots and plants, herbs,
Mm-hmm.
um, but also with stones and you could say sticks and different kinds of materials from nature and the earth. Sometimes animal parts, coins.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite vast.
It is, eh? All right. Now, so that would be the herbology aspect of what you do, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, mojo. How do we describe what mojo is?
Oh, mojo is really fascinating because it's so rich and
Mm-hmm.
dense. I feel like inside of the mojo bag, there's like the whole world. It's like a microcosm of the world. Mojo is a kind of energy. That's how people in common parlance use mojo to speak
Mm-hmm.
about energy. Oh dear,
Oh,
sorry
these
about
things
that.
happen. No problem, dear.
um, yeah, mojo is a difficult word to describe, really.
Mm-hmm.
But the bags and that you can wrap your head around the mojo bag
Right.
itself as an object of magic and imbuing power into the world and kind of holding it as your seat of power.
And I would imagine a conjuration is a spell.
Yeah, conjuration is kind of like to pull up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, when you want to conjure an idea, like you want to kind of pull it out of thin air.
Right.
Conjuration is dealing with the spiritual nature of the world and the environment.
And we can use the 365 days of hoodoo to help us in our personal lives, our professional lives, and
Absolutely.
excellent, excellent. Now, when we come back, because I've got to take a commercial break in about a minute from now, and I don't want to start something and then not be able to complete it with you. When we come back, I'd like to talk to you and have you give us examples of how hoodoo can help each and every one of us. And will you be able to help us with that?
Of course.
All right,
Yeah.
Exxon Nation, my guest this hour is Stephanie Rose Bird, and she just lives outside of Chicago, Illinois. And if you'd like more information about Stephanie, her website is stephanierosebird.com. That's www.stephanierosebird.com. The name of her book is 365 Days of Hoodoo, Daily Rootwork, Mojo, and Conjuration, and is published by our good friends at Llewellyn. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't forget, you can always get your complimentary copy of the X Zone Chronicles online at www.xchroniclesnewspaper.com, and that is spelled XCHRONICLES newspaper.com. And for a listing of all the program available to you 24/7, 365 on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit www.xzbn.net. You're listening and watching the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Stephanie Rosebird and I will be back after this short break. Don't go away. Welcome back, everyone. Stephanie Rosebird is my special guest this hour. She is the author of 365 Days of Hoodoo, Daily Root Work, Mojo, and Conjuration. Her website, www.stephanierosebird.com. Stephanie, how can hoodoo help us in our daily lives, our personal lives?
It can help in many different ways. From your love life, which a lot of people are interested in, kind of getting a maid, keeping them close, getting rid of them when you need them, not like killing them, but just like severing the relationship. Also, in your career, you're finding a job, keeping the job, changing jobs, being successful at interviews. Moving is another aspect of when you want to get a good apartment or house and you kind of conjure it up, dream it up, find it, and then there are different kinds of movements and spell work, root work that you can do on the property or with a picture of the home to try to make it your own. With prosperity and abundance of affluence, we have many different money related spells and tricks. We call them tricks, which is kind of different than in witchcraft. But a trick is very similar to a spell. Let's see.
Can you give us
every aspect: birth, death,
how about giving us an example of what a spell is and what a trick is?
It really is. It's a particular type of language. It's just the language that we use in our practice as opposed to in the witchcraft practice. So there is not that much of a difference. What I have noticed in the traditional informant's work is there isn't a ton of talking. You know, in witchcraft, I feel like there's more of the incantation and chanting, and there is some of that, but there isn't as much speaking. It's more interior, the magic that is practiced with the tricks.
It almost seems as if the conjuration is a lot like the that very familiar and very popular, what was it called? The Secret, where if you confess it, you will possess it. Is this the basic function of a conjuration?
Yeah, you mean like the law of the universe?
Yes, exactly.
And I try to guide.
Stephanie, we've kind of lost your audio. You moved something. There we go.
Are we okay now?
We're okay now.
Okay. So, yeah, I was just saying that I'm really into the law of attraction and love The Secret, the idea of that. And I do see some crossover, although just because of the nature of the original practitioners of hoodoo, there are a lot of Africanisms in it. There's a lot it's it's quite based in African paths.
So would you say that hoodoo works better for African Americans than it would for... Whoops.
No,
We,
no, not say that.
Stephanie, I don't know what you just did, but you kind of... We lost your audio again.
Are we there? Are we okay now?
We are okay now, so if
I'll
you're...
stop touching things.
Thank you. That'd be great. That would be great.
Okay.
So would it work?
So,
Would it work better for an African American, or it doesn't matter who you are, because once you understand the principles, once you understand the theory behind it, as well as the language and how it works, anybody can use it.
that's true. And it's pretty colorblind. And
Excellent.
there have been great practitioners
Hmm.
of just the rainbow of colors. So it doesn't matter at all what color you are to be a good hoodoo. I
Practitioner.
think that sometimes, like,
Hmm.
people, I have people write to me and they are just so happy. They are African descended and
Hmm.
they're just so happy to be able to see some of themselves in a practice. Sometimes we feel excluded from things or we feel like things are other. And I think with hoodoo, it's something that you can kind of grab on to, like, oh, yeah, I used to see my aunt do things like
Right.
that, or my grandmother or my mother. It has a kind of common feeling to it.
It's very cultural based.
Yes.
What is the difference between hoodoo and voodoo?
Well, hoodoo
You're moved
is.
around again. You moved around again.
Oh, I never realized how fidgety I was. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay.
Uh, okay, so voodoo or voodoo is a religion, and
Hmm.
it has many overtures of Catholicism in it, and other religions from Africa. And then hoodoo is folkloric. It's full of folklore and mythology and storytelling and things like that. So there is a pretty big difference in hoodoo and voodoo.
Now, what are the basics of hoodoo?
Well, one of the basic things that you would need to do
Hmm.
is, okay, many different things are popping into my head, and I know that doesn't make it basic. So let me see if I can pare it down. Um, Having a mojo bag, maintaining it, feeding it, um, storing and using its power is very hoodoo. Um, Going to the cemetery and getting um, graveyard dirt, using that in your work is another practice in hoodoo. Then we have foot track magic, where we have like hot foot powder and things like that,
Hmm.
where we use the power of movement and our tracks to affect change and magic. So those are some of the basics. Of course, a
What
lot goes on at the crossroads.
and what is the crossroads?
The crossroads are, it literally is where four directions meet, but there's a fifth element in there that is mystical and magical, and that's where a lot of the magic takes off from.
Now, as a person who has also been a shaman or is a shaman, would you say that the crossroads is like the magic or like the medicine wheel?
I have said that in my first book. I do
Hmm.
see some commonality there, yes.
Right.
Just as I see a similarity in our mojo bag with medicine
Right.
bags.
Yeah. I was envisioning that as you were talking.
Hmm.
What is the significance of the graveyard dirt? Graveyard
Um,
earth, I should say.
yeah, from there are many different kinds of people,
Hmm.
obviously, that are buried in the cemetery,
Yes.
and you can pull different types of energy from engaging the soils from different areas around their grave. So
So would the earth from a man who has died have different energy and uses from that of a lady who has died?
yes, and also there's the use of the innocence of a child or a
Mm-hmm.
baby who has died. The earth from around their cemetery area graveyard is another kind of power that you can pull on.
How does power remain in the earth after the person has died? I always thought that once a person died, the energy that was within them left in spirit form.
I feel that it disperses
Mm-hmm.
into the soil. Just there are like their remains
Okay.
are there, so um, parts of them has dispersed into the ground, into the earth. So
And how long after a person has passed away and been buried is that earth good enough or been charged enough to be used in a ritual or a conjuration?
yeah, it's usually not brand new soil.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually someone who's been there for a bit that you would use it.
All right, Stephanie, stand by. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour in Exo Nation. I'm Rob McConnell. This is The Exxon, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And we come to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern on the Exxon Broadcast Network. And if you're watching us around the world, you're watching us on Simul TV, channel number 21. And we'll be back on the other side of this short break for the news, for all of you who are with us on the radio. And interesting topic, 365 Days of Hoodoo by our guest this hour, Stephanie Rose Bird. And her website is www.stephanierosebird.com. And we'll be back. Don't go away. Exonation, Stephanie Rose Bird is my special guest. Her website is stephanierosebird.com, and she's the author of 365 Days of Hoodoo, Daily Root Work, Mojo, and Conjuration. And once again, her website is stephanierosebird.com. Stephanie, based on your experience having dealt in this genre for 30 years, what is the number one reason why people turn to learning hoodoo?
I mean, there are two reasons. The
Okay, what
first
are the two?
reason, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I said, what are the two reasons?
Okay. The first thing that I thought of, people are just very caught up in their love lives and they
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to get love and keep it close. So that is one of the things that brings them to hoodoo. So it's like something that people want to affect change. They want to take control of things and
Mm-hmm.
affect change, I think would be the best way to summarize it.
Um, would this be a person typically who, let me use this example, all right? I've been married now. Oh, gosh, let me see. Our eldest daughter is going to be 46. So, and I've never had to turn to hoodoo or any other modality to keep my marriage and my family together.
Hmm. Well, I think everybody is different and
Okay.
everyone has different things
Mm-hmm.
that they want to to have effects on.
So
So
would you say that hoodoo is a tool?
I think there are tools in hoodoo,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
All right. So let's say one of our listeners is having love issues. What would they do, or how would hoodoo be used to help the listener win over the heart or increase the intensity of the relationship that he or she wants?
They could use a particular type of mojo bag
Mm-hmm.
that's treated all with love lore materials. That would be the probably the best way. And the other one that comes to mind is foot track magic, where you use the soles of the person's shoes and they are put in a particular direction under the home to keep them close to home at all
Oh,
times, or to help them find their way back.
all right. Now, having said that, what is the science behind hoodoo? How does it work? How does turning the shoes in the right direction help keep somebody at home? It's a great metaphor, but how does it work in reality?
I think that one of the things that you said that was so great is when you started to talk about the law of attraction
Mm-hmm.
and the spirit, because I think that a good hoodoo is very grounded, very in control of themselves and their environment. And it's sheer willpower, it's will and power from conjuring spirits and ancestry around the person that they enables them to do these kinds of things. Some hoodoos are also quite like they have Christian leanings, so they will use psalms. They use prayer, Christian prayer, to um, help cement the work that they're doing. But I think in essence, it's will and
Mm-hmm.
power from within the hoodoo. And
It
so,
sounds as if hoodoo actually works with whatever religious philosophy that you're comfortable with.
absolutely, most
Gotcha.
definitely.
Um,
So yeah, you can be even atheist. Any
mhm.
different pagan path can work with hoodoo, and there are religious different kinds of elements in hoodoo, not just Christian either.
How long would it take a person to become proficient in hoodoo?
I think, like with my book, The 365 Days, giving
Mm-hmm.
it an entire year, practicing every day would definitely build some proficiency. But I think that it's not like something where, like the old drink tang, where you just add water. It's not
Yeah.
that. It takes, it does take practice and dedication and a lot of trial and error too.
It's like today's diets. Everybody's looking for the magic pill. They don't want to actually eat right. They don't want to exercise. They just want to find that magic pill, pop it, and all their problems are over. But in
Yes,
reality, I know, and I know that you know, being a practitioner, there is no such thing. You have to give in order to receive.
yes.
Yeah. Um, Having done this for so long, written award-winning books, I'm sure that you've met many people over the years that have used your practices and who have success stories. What are some of the success stories that you can share with our audience?
I hate to beat the same old drum, but
Mm-hmm.
people have been working love magic a lot. They'll write into me or talk to me about love magic. Another thing that people do though that's quite profound is they find themselves in the power that they hold within inside of
Ah.
themselves in their soul, and that's really moving when someone gets to that point.
So basically, hoodoo also teaches someone how to recognize their own inner strengths
Yes.
and help build confidence, I would imagine.
Yes.
There's the old saying, if you can't love yourself, no one else will.
Exactly.
All right, so I understand the love, how it improves your love, and I think it's wonderful, especially since it helps people to recognize their own power, because I firmly believe that the answer to every question or every problem we have can be found in the person on the other side of the mirror when you're looking at your reflection in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I love philosophies like hoodoo that actually help the person discover themselves and to bring themselves to a point where it helps build self-esteem as well as gives the person the purpose and the ability as well as the tools to make this happen.
Yes.
Protection. When I was reading the information about your book, it said can improve love, prosperity, protection, and much more. How can hoodoo help with protection?
Well, again, it's the one of the parts of the protection magic that
Mm-hmm.
I like a lot, or is the mojo bag,
Right.
and putting specific elements into the bag, and then feeding the bag, and
Mm-hmm.
keeping it on your person, keeping it around where you sleep, and traveling with it. The mojo bag can. There are many different tricks for protection surrounding the mojo bag.
It also sounds as if there's a lot of Native American or North American Native methodology because they believe the protection of salt,
Yes.
smudging,
Hmm.
and it seems that there's also a little bit of feng shui in here as well.
Yes. There is. There are so many neat
Hmm.
practices in there, and I think that it like came about like very strongly at a time when in some rural areas, but also urban areas where different communities of people from different cultures were living together, and it rubbed off on the practitioners.
I can associate with that because when I was a young lad, we lived in Montreal in an area called Park Extension, and that's where everyone lived. You had you had Italian friends, you had Greek friends, you had Irish friends, you had Oriental friends, and we all shared the culture that we each had, and it was
Yes,
wonderful. People don't do that anymore.
I know. It's getting more and more separate, which
It,
is kind of scary.
It's also very sad because I feel very fortunate that I had the ability to learn so much as a youth that I have been able to carry throughout my lifetime.
Yes.
So, anyway, one quick
Yeah.
question. Can hoodoo help with the daily stress that we're all faced with these days? Give me a yes or a no, and we'll get the complete answer when we come back from a commercial break. So, can hoodoo help with stress?
Yes.
All right, Stephanie, stand by. Thank you so much for joining us. In Dexo Nation, our guest this hour is Stephanie Rose Bird. She's the author of 365 Days of Hoodoo, Daily Root Work, Mojo, and Conjuration. And I'd like to thank our good friends at Llewellyn Publishing, especially Kat Sabrin, Sanborn, I should say, who is the senior publicist there, for helping make this interview possible today. And Stephanie and I will be back on the other side of this break as we wrap up this hour here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Explanation, my guest this hour is Stephanie Rose Bird, and she is a hereditary intuitive, contemporary root worker, solitary green witch, and visionary. She's been involved with paganism, mysticism, and the occult for over 30 years. She is a practicing visionary and spiritual artist specializing in painting. Stephanie offers healing workshops, rituals, retreats, and classes across the country. Once again, her website is www.stephanierosebird.com. First of all, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us tonight, taking time out of your busy schedule, and congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
So the question I asked before we went to the commercial break was protection and how hoodoo can help us in these very stressful days that each and every one of us are under.
Yes, we were going to talk about stress, I
Mm-hmm.
thought. And I really like the combination of the elements in hoodoo to kind of, I don't know, it sort of deflates the stress. Like when you can do something as simple as lighting a candle, a white candle, or a purple candle, blue candle, something of a high spirituality. Sometimes when you're really low, like more of an orange kind of or yellow candle to energize you and your space. And then with water, like especially now that it's spring, we have been having some crazy rain and flooding here, and it can make you begrudge the rain. But
Right.
one of the things that you do in hoodoo is collect rain. You collect just plain rainwater and use that in the cleansing of your home, and lightning water, for example, you can bathe in it, or you can kind of do a floor wash with it, and it's a change kind of water. So it can change from dull, drab, worrisome, hectic to where you want your space and yourself to be. So the fire and water element can come together and work very nicely. Those are particular hoodoo methodologies.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm not. This isn't a joke. It's something that struck me. What happens? Like in a lot of today's homes, everything is carpeted.
Oh yeah.
How can we utilize the rainwater?
Well, you can use it in the bath, even though baths are very old-fashioned
Yeah.
nowadays. Even like a foot soak, a hand
Yeah.
soak.
Okay.
So you can take it down to the smaller levels, and also like a pine wash or something like that. That would be. I have hardwood floors, so I'm working from my center. That's my center is having these hardwood floors, and so I think about what to do with them. And I have a lot of wood in my home, like trim and things like that, and so I think if you don't have wood trim or stairs or anything like that, you can still work the countertops
Okay.
and tables and glass, like whatever surfaces you have of your furniture, you can still work with essential oils and the different types of waters and things like that.
What are some of the altars that people can learn how to make by reading 365 Days of Hoodoo?
You can make an ancestral altar. You can make St. Joe altar. All of the different saints have different altars. And then the Loa from the Yoruba paths, you can also learn how to make altars to salute and encourage them to be in your environment.
You're a spiritual artist specializing in painting. In fact, you're coming to us from your art studio.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your spiritual art.
Okay, so my paintings generally center around plants. So just like the magical practices that I have engaged in, I carry that over to the painting. So when I am visualizing from plants.
Hmm.
I try to see their inner energy and their healing potential, and then get that down on canvas or paper. So they're very abstract. I spoke to a lady yesterday, and she
Hmm.
said, uh, well, she couldn't see the nature in my work, which was very like confounding to me because I actually sit outside and paint, or I always have plants in my studio that I'm working from, or sticks or something like that. So I was very befuddled that she had said that. But yes, I have even gone as far as like doing natural dyes as my paint, and working with ground oyster shells and different kind of inks from the sea and things like that. I feel enhance also the kind of vision I'm trying to pull forth.
Do you find that your painting enhances your spirituality?
Yes, it grows from it. So it's all a unit really. It's
Hmm.
people kind of separate me out. Like some people are interested in my painting life and some in my writing
Right.
and spirituality, but it's all one and the same. They're just different um, genres or pathways to the same end.
And how important is meditation in hoodoo?
I feel that it's very important to ground and center, so that, again, so that you can pull from your center core to be able to put forth the kind of magic that you want in the world. So I feel that it's very important. I think it would depend on who you're talking to, but since you're talking to me,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very important.
You were mentioning lighting candles before, and you gave
Yes.
different colors. What is the significance of a colored candle? For example, white. You mentioned purple. You mentioned blue.
Yes. Each of the colors, like I go through them
Hmm.
in the book, um, but they all have different significances. Like red candles are used a lot in love magic, green in money, prosperity magic. I like the blue, purple, white because it's high frequency spirituality.
Hmm.
So it's really um, elevates and gets you connected to spirit. So I particularly like those three colors.
Before we go, I'd like to know more, and I'd like you to share with our listeners some of the workshops and ritual retreats that you offer.
I do women's retreats,
Hmm.
and I do a lot of like botanical crafting kinds of workshops. Like I love working with henna, making natural soaps, things like that. But yeah, I do. I like to do retreats, gathering. It seems like women gravitate towards me, so a lot of women come to my retreats and workshops, but they are open to everyone, and I encourage everyone to come. So they
Hmm.
are the nexus between or within spirituality and creativity is what I am offering.
And I would imagine all the information about your retreats, your courses, your workshops, and classes can be found on your website at www.stephanierosebird.com.
Yes, and on my Facebook page, I
Hmm.
have an author Facebook page, and I always post any upcoming workshops that I'm having there and on Twitter. But the connections to those my social media is through the www.stephanierosebird.com, that website.
Stephanie, we've got about a minute left. What are your final words or your final thoughts that you'd like to share with the X Zone Nation?
I would say, please don't be afraid of hoodoo because of the sort of shallow, lowbrow, like crazy movies that you
Hmm.
might have seen from a long, long time ago. It can be a very positive, healing path, very empowering path to help you make change in your life. So I would really encourage you to give it a try, and not just give it a try, but stick with it for 365 days so that you can really get to the root of the matter.
Stephanie, as always, time flies when we're having fun here in the X Zone. I
Yeah.
want to thank you so much for joining us again tonight, and continued success. And I look forward to the next time you and I meet back here in the X Zone. Until then, take care of yourself.
Thank you. It was delightful.
Thank you, Stephanie. And X Zone Nation, once again, if you'd like more information about our guest this hour, Stephanie Rose Bird, the author of 365 Days of Hoodoo, please visit her website at www.stephanierosebird.com. Now, for all of you listening to us on the X Zone Broadcast Network radio side, I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news. But for those of you who are leaving us now on the X Zone TV channel, always remember, I'll be back tomorrow night, and please always keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. From everyone here at the X Zone Broadcast Network, REL-MAR McConnell Media Company, from myself and my executive producer, Laura Rogers, good night, everyone.